The kidnapping and blackmail of Glico Morinaga is one of the most notorious cases in Japanese history. Then, a mysterious creature known as the Monster with 21 Faces threatened and succeeded in poisoning Japanese candies. The secretive organization terrorized two Japanese confectionery firms, Ezaki Glico and Morinaga, as well as other food companies, for a year and a half in the 1980s. They demanded ransoms, abducted CEOs, and even snuck cyanide-laced confectionery into stores. The Monster with 21 Faces had sliced company profits, terrified the Japanese, and exasperated cops by the time their reign of terror came to the abrupt end. The perpetrators of the threats have never been apprehended. One of Japan's most prominent confectionery firms is Ezaki Glico, which is known for its beloved Pocky confections. Glico, on the other hand, was thrown into the spotlight on March 18, 1984, for an altogether opposite cause. Two masked men broke into Glico president Katsuhisa Izaki's home that night. They chained Izaki's wife and daughter and dragged him naked from his bathtub at 9 p.m. They tossed the confectionery executive into the back of a car and drove away into the darkness. The kidnappers then wanted 1 billion yen, about $9 million today, and 220 pounds of gold bullion. Even though Izaki was able to escape before the firm paid his ransom, it was clear that his suffering was only just the beginning. 6 cars were set on fire at the Glico factory not long after. Then a container of hydrochloric acid was delivered to the company. As if Izaki hadn't gotten the message yet, his tormentors began writing him threatening letters, which were promptly published in newspapers. "To the police fools," their April 8, 1984 letter starts. "Are you all stupid? What the hell are you doing with all that manpower?" They dangled hints like their car's color, gray, and where they bought their groceries, a huge chain called the Daiei Supermarket, claiming that this information would be enough to catch them. "Shall we also kidnap the prefectural police chief?" they said at the end of the letter. The note was signed by Izaki's kidnappers as the Monster with 21 Faces, a reference to the shape-shifting criminal in Edogawa Rampo's 1963 novel The Fiend with the 21 Faces. However, neither that nor the clues they provided helped authorities find them. In fact, their threats became more serious. The Monster with 21 Faces stated in mid-May that they had placed cyanide-laced Glico chocolates on store shelves. Panic spread across Japan in the aftermath of the May 1984 letter. Glico recalled everything because the Monster with 21 Faces had not stated which candies they poisoned. It wasn't as if no one wanted to eat it. As a result, the company's profitability plummeted, and 1,000 employees were laid off. Glico lost 130 million in sales as a result of the kidnappers' ruse, according to Izaki. However, there was never any proof that the Monster with 21 Faces had poisoned any Glico confectionery. Indeed, by June of that year, the weird gang appeared to be ready to give up their agony. The Monster with 21 Faces stated, "The president of Glico has already gone around with his head hanging down long enough. There's also a 4-year-old kid in our group who screams for Glico every day," they continued. "It's a pain to make a kid cry because he's missing out on his favorite candy." Although Japanese confectionery fans would have sighed with relief, the Monster with 21 Faces had not given up. Instead, they concentrated on a different confectionery manufacturer. The Morinaga portion of the Glico Morinaga case started in September of 1984. When the Monster with 21 Faces sought money from the Morinaga candy firm. When Morinaga refused to comply, they sent out another threatening letter that upped the ante. In an October letter, the group stated, "We've added some particular flavor. The flavor of potassium cyanide is a little bitter." They claim to have left 20 boxes of cyanide-laced candies at establishments from Hakata to Tokyo. They added that they'd left a note on the boxes, so don't worry too much. Police discovered boxes of poisoned sweets with a warning label that said, "Danger, contains poison. If you consume this, you will perish." The mystery man with 21 faces. For months, police in Japan did everything they could to find the monster with 21 faces. As threats against other businesses grew, they scanned through hours of surveillance footage and even released audio of a lady and a toddler requesting money on the group's behalf in the hopes that someone would recognize them. Nobody did. They had since gotten a couple of hints. A man was caught on a camera putting Glico chocolates on a shelf by a surveillance camera, and he was afterwards called the videotaped man by police. Then, during an attempted money drop, authorities noticed a witness acting suspiciously. He was known as the fox-eyed man. However, neither of them could be identified by any investigators. In August of 1985, the case's tension and the police's continual failure had become too much for Shiga Prefecture Police Chief Shoji Yamamoto. He died after dousing himself in kerosene and lighting himself on fire. Though the monster with 21 faces reacted to Yamamoto's death with mockery, "How stupid of him," they wrote in a letter, they also seemed mollified. "We made the decision to express our condolences," the group added. "We made the decision to stop torturing food manufacturers. It is not us, but someone who is mimicking us, who is blackmailing any of the food-making enterprises. We are nasty men," they continued as they signed off. "That implies we have a lot more work to do than just harass businesses. It's entertaining to live the life of a wicked guy." Signed, the 21-faced monster. That was the final time anyone heard from the monster with 21 faces. No one had ever been poisoned by the end of their reign of terror, and the entity had never shown up to receive any extortion money. The monster with 21 faces was never identified despite authorities investigating 125,000 people, ranging from Yakuza groups to North Koreans, and pursuing thousands of tips. And the statute of limitations has now run out. Police would be unable to charge the monster with 21 faces, even if their mask was removed. As a result, the Glico Morinaga case remains one of the 20th century's oddest and sweetest unsolved homicides. Thanks for watching.